In this video, I go over 5 features that I hope get added to Rekordbox DJ. Find out which ones those are coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. The first new feature that I hope gets added to Rekordbox DJ is a more streamlined way to MIDI map. Currently, Rekordbox DJ has the Tractor Pro kind of style of MIDI mapping, where you go through menus and you have to select which exact function you want and then assign it to a certain MIDI note or hit learn. And that works in a way, but it's really slow. In comparison to something like Serato DJs, where you just wave the cursor over what you want to MIDI map, click on it, then you can just MIDI learn by hitting the MIDI button. It's so much faster and so much more intuitive than having to go through all the menus and finding all the functions that you want to MIDI map. This is more visual, and especially for people that are just getting into MIDI mapping, it's a lot easier to kind of comprehend and get your head around. Now, the whole menu system and having those more detailed kind of features is, a more power user way of looking at it. But for someone that's just using MIDI mapping as a way to get a secondary controller up and running and getting functions mapped really quickly, in my opinion, most DJs would want it in a more visual style, the way Serato DJ has it. The next function that I hope gets added to Rekordbox DJ is a multi-function deck mode. Now this is something sort of like, again, what Serato DJ has, where you get 2 modes in the deck mode at once, meaning in Serato DJ you can see your cue points and your loops at the exact same time. And especially with the more expanded feature set of Rekordbox DJ, where you get now up to 16 cue points, it leaves even more room to have room for, your cue points and maybe your pad effects or your loops or your samples, something like that, where make more use of the space and make it more efficiently used, where you get more functionality out of something, especially like the XP1, where you get those 16 pads and get multi, functions out of one actual kind of mapping, instead of having to switch functions from like loops to cues, etc., etc. If you can get like a split kind of deck function, and you get so much more functionality out of having that one deck showing up, and I'd be more inclined to use the features that Rekordbox DJ has. The next new function that I'd like to see added to Rekordbox DJ is more view modes. Currently, you have the Serato style vertical mode and another horizontal mode that kind of takes up the whole screen for the waveform but makes them really skinny. I'd rather see something more like where I get a chunkier, bigger waveform so I can see a little bit more in depth what's going on in the horizontal kind of waveform, because I do use horizontal instead of vertical, just from my experience and the way that I like to DJ. So to get those options where you can kind of rearrange and get different views than just the one vertical and one horizontal would definitely be welcomed. And I think a lot of DJs would welcome this as well. Also, what I don't like currently is that when you switch between those 2 views, the actual decks change in size and the kind of functions kind of move around a little bit, not too much, but they do change a bit. If they could make those, actually just maintain the same kind of functions and the same look, no matter what view mode you're in, I think that would help out a lot, and it would cut down on the confusion of, when you're just glancing at your computer really quick and you're looking back at the decks and going back and forth. It'll just make it a lot easier to see and visually recognize what's going on in the software if it maintains the same look no matter what the view mode is. The fourth function that I'd want to see added is actually something that kind of comes from the older versions of Rekordbox before they added the whole Pro actual Rekordbox DJ software, when it was just an organization software, is the ability to actually hook up directly into your CDJ and DJ straight off of that. Previously, you'd have to use a Cat5 cable, the network cable that you use to connect the DJ Pro Link to your computer, and then you could access your library from your computer without having to use, USB flash drives. You also gain the immensely helpful function of having that full keyboard to do all your searches. And at that time, they didn't have the touchscreens that the 2000 Nexus 2 has, so this was the only way to get a true typing search function using Rekordbox. So if they could kind of streamline that instead, because previously, like I mentioned, you'd have to use the DJ Pro Link and connect your computer into a network hub that had the actual CDJs connected to it and the mixer connected to it as well. And it was just a more cumbersome process, where I think you could actually just plug in directly into the USB, into the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2, and have that connected to your computer, kind of like having an external hard drive or a flash drive plugged in, and then use the Cat5 DJ Pro Link across the 2 CDJs to kind of network and use the Pro Link as the way to connect both CDJs to one laptop. I think this makes so much sense, and even if you think about it, you could even have the ability to switch off DJs, because with two CDJs you have one USB on one side, another USB on the other side. I think if they could do this, it would make Rekordbox DJ a more attractive software to a lot of DJs out there, instead of having to, worry about all their stuff on one flash drive, or not being able to search the way they want to using CDJs and Rekordbox exported to flash drives. Having your computer and just being able to connect it via USB makes so much sense. So if Pioneer can make this happen, it would just be great, especially for all the open format DJs out there that need that quick search function that's currently missing in Rekordbox DJ. And the last feature that I'd like to see added to Rekordbox DJ is a simpler and easier way to set up your sound cards, or have the ability to save preferences for certain sound cards that you always plug into. Currently, if you plug into a DJM 900 Nexus or a Rekordbox DJ enabled device like that, it's pretty simple to set it up. But the one cool thing about Rekordbox DJ is that you can use pretty much almost any sound card or mixer with a built-in sound card in it, but it takes a while to set up the inputs and outputs. Now, I know because they aren't officially supported devices, this extra step is kind of needed, but what would be nice is the ability to save those as a preference, like saving a MIDI mapping. You could save an audio mapping as well. This feature is kind of available in Tractor Pro, where you can save, different aggregate audio devices. So if you could have this kind of preference in Rekordbox DJ, I think it would help out a lot of users out there, so they could just set up no matter what club. If they know that the club has an SL4, they've done it once, they know it's there, they can just plug right in and go, instead of having to set it up each and every time, no matter what the situation is. So those are the 5 features that I'd like to see added to Rekordbox DJ. So question of the day, which features would you like to see added to Rekordbox DJ? Go and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time.